Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you guys are doing well. Today, I will be sharing a little experience of me being a teacher during the COVID 19. So, if this is the topic that you're interested in, stay tuned and continue watching the video. So, one of the most eventful things that happened to me during the COVID 19, well, the rising of COVID 19 was termination. I got terminated from my job. So, before I get into all of that, for those that doesn't know, I started teaching in 2019, in summer 2019, and I taught all the way to the beginning of 2021 until around maybe March or April. I don't really remember. It was the rising of COVID 19 in Belize. And everything was okay in the beginning of the spreading of COVID 19. We got our first patient with COVID 19 in Belize. I don't remember exactly when, and then everything seems okay. So when Belize, we discover one patient who have COVID 19. Soon we went into lockdown, we went into quarantine, um, and everything was under control. It took a while for school to come up with this whole online things, but however I taught online all the while, and everything seems okay. So during the time, we discovered one patient who have COVID-19 in Belize, and that was our first case. However, soon we went into lockdown. The whole country was on quarantine, and they gave us 2 weeks quarantine to see the situation of COVID-19. But however, after the 2 weeks, it went into a month, and a month turned into a month and a half, and it just kept on. Um, it just kept on keep back the whole opening of school and the lifting of quarantines and lockdown. However, during the whole quarantine, I was still teaching like normal. I was teaching online, and everything was okay until in June. In June, I would say it's a turning point because it is a time where school is going to decide whether they're going to be opening school, or is it still going to be online, or are we going to have the student coming back for a week and then stay home for another week. It was a very difficult and complicated time for the school. And how I got terminated was that the principal called for a meeting, a staff meeting, and we're going to be discussing the new school year of 2021, August 2021. And I attend the meeting, and everything was normal. They asked for my opinions, they asked for my thoughts, and everything seems okay until the end of the meeting, where I was suddenly being told that I was no longer on their payroll, and that my contract would finish by the end of June, where the school closes for the school year. During that time, it was a very shocking event for me because um, it was the rising COVID 19, and we never know what is going to happen. And if I don't have a job, I don't have a stable income, how am I going to accommodate my living? So I was very depressed. I never really understood why they terminated me. I started to think that maybe I wasn't good enough, maybe I was not, they don't have good feedback about me being a teacher during the time when we were in school. It was a lot of things coming to my mind as to why am I terminated. But I eventually came to an understanding that that was the best thing that I could ever done that time, and I eventually accept the fact that there was nothing wrong with me. It's just that the school had to make changes, adjustment, towards the situation, towards the pandemic and everything like that. But the big question would be, what am I gonna do for the rest of the year? Yes, I understand that. And the reason I was being terminated is not because there was something wrong with me. It was because the school have their own reason, they have their own perspective towards the budgeting of the school, which I totally understand. But the question still remain. What am I gonna do to accommodate my living for the rest of the year? So I started to be creative. I started to look for fundings, and we have our local bank, Atlantic Bank, who had personally sponsored me for my own studio where I am going to be teaching children, and hopefully to earn an income for myself. And that's when I actually went into full time in private lessons. I teach one-on-one students for their private lessons, but um, doing private is never stable. How am I going to create a stable income for myself by doing privates, which student comes in and out all the time? And that was basically my biggest struggle during the time of COVID-19. Yeah, and eventually, um, the spread of cases went out of hands. We went back into, well, not necessarily lockdown, but we started to have a lot of curfews and things like that. And that time there was no available for vaccine. So, and I would say that was really the worst time of my life, um, during the year, because that's when I'm actually not making anything. I mean, I was terminated to start with, um, and I wasn't able to create a stable income for myself by doing full-time privating, because yeah, students come in and out, and that's something very normal for every teacher who is doing full-time in private. However, I was able to pull through even during that time. I don't have any savings. I mean, I was already a new teacher. I was a young teacher that time when it was the rising of COVID-19. So soon went into um, the pandemic, and I wasn't able to save a lot of money. And during the summer in 2021, our goal was to go into Suzuki training, and of course that was a lot of finance for me. It was a headache because I don't know how am I gonna be finding the fundings for myself in order for me to go into the camp. But long story short, I was able to accommodate myself in going into the camp. I was doing some side business. I was selling bubble teas and things like that, or trying to make extra income for myself in order to send myself to the training camp. And however, I went, and of course that took all of my savings. I had to start from scratch after the camp, and that was another difficult time for me. And when I came back from the camp, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? I don't have any more savings. It's like starting from zero again. What am I gonna do for the rest of my year? And how am I going to earn myself a living by paying rent after the camp have taken all of my money, all of my savings? And but well, God was good, and He provided me one of the best opportunity I ever have in my life so far. Of course, that would not have happened if it wasn't my friend who left the job for me. Well, it was one of the reasons that she wanted to left the job. That's why it was available, but maybe it was not very it wasn't a very much solid um decision that she wanted to leave. But the moment she heard that I wanted a job, and I really want a job, because it's been a year and a half without any job, so she decided to leave the job, and that's when I got the job. And my life as teacher basically changed um, ever since I gotten a job. It was one of the best opportunity I ever have in my life. Um, I, I love the job so much. It's so different than what I'm doing before. It just, the people there are amazing. The principal, she's so sweet. You won't be going anywhere finding a principal as sweet as her. And I just really, really thankful for all the opportunity that were given to me so far. However, my point of doing this video is to share a little bit of my experience being a teacher during COVID-19, being a young teacher during COVID-19, and the opportunity that was then offered to me, all the great things that turns out at the end of the bad situation that I have for the year and things like that. So teacher who are out there facing the same thing as I did, I want to say that don't ever give up. Don't let that ruin your passion for teaching, because at the end of the day, if teaching is something that you love, you should continue. You should because I mean, kids, we need to offer education to them, so you are very important, and you have to know that you have a great impact on a successful life of a child. Yeah, and I do thank everybody who pushed me toward this job, and it changed my life since then. It's one of the most amazing things it ever happened to me. So in the end, I want to say that teachers who had been teachers all along since the rising of COVID-19 in any part of the world, I want you to understand that don't complain about how much you have to do for your student during the COVID-19. And yeah, don't feel like you're doing so much whatever. Don't feel that way, because there are people who would wish to have your job. A person like me, if you only knew how it feels to not having a job during the whole pandemic time, when it was the worst time. I mean, it's still getting bad, but during that time it was bad enough for someone that doesn't have a job. So I hope that you appreciate all your opportunity that you have so far. I hope that you embrace the opportunity that you are having all along, and to make the best out of it. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.